Hey, it's Chris. New stuff this week. Should you back it? Let me talk you off the ledge of the new stuff that's come out this week, why you should be thinking about it. Also, why it's not for you as well. Crowdfunding, right? Love it and hate it at the same time. Love talking about board games. Let's do this. First up, Planet Unknown Supermoon. Deluxe, reprint, expansion, lid? Question mark? Ron Burgundy? Anyway, $350,000 because this has been out of stock in a lot of places, even the retail version. And the deluxified version was never again sold previously. And so it was going for buku bucks in the secondary market. This is a tile laying, engine building, spacefaring game as you are taking on the role of one of several different corporations, slowly grabbing polyominoes from a central lazy Susan that rotates depending on the player. Because you can rotate it a certain number of spaces each time it's your turn. And so then you can take also from the inner ring or the outer ring, depending on how you feel. And then you lay it down accordingly based on what's down there, based on how it interacts, based on your rovers and things that you're moving, potentially the meteorites or what you're picking up. You're moving your tracks on your own other individual player board up, getting unique bonuses, having asymmetry if you choose to use that side or not. So do you need the deluxified version of it? Do you need all of the little extras? There's a little lazy Susan example, right? You spin it a certain number of spaces this way, a certain number of spaces that way, choose one like I just mentioned. So here you go, the new expansion. They said flat out before the campaign launched, it was going to add about 5 extra turns. That's sort of the big question. Are you looking for a longer game? I think they actually added information in the first day or so, because when this launched, it didn't really have a whole lot of information on it besides what some of these pictures were showing you right here. And it's going to cost you $130 to get everything, which I saw the retail version going for $100 on the secondary market like a week or two prior to this campaign. So for the deluxe edition with the expansion, I guess that's not a bad price. That's still forking expensive for a deluxe edition game. So I don't care what you are, who you are from that aspect of things, it is. No stretch goals, they're already all unlocked. Neoprene mats, if you got the retail version like I have, you can buy some of this stuff, the plastic bits, the wooden bits. You can get all of the deluxified things right here, essentially separately if you want. Now, this is the one I like because this one has gameplay content. 2 different asymmetric corporations, 6 more planets to fill in of different configurations, and whatever the wooden token is too. So this is the gameplay stuff that was included originally. So I like that. I like the idea of neoprene mats, but I think these boards are fine enough that because they're not folding, you don't really need to worry about it. Wooden bits don't do anything for me, and plastic bits also really don't do anything for me in this game. I think they're fine just the way they are. Absolutely fine. Gives you the rule book here, gives you a little bit of the overview, but here's what you're actually getting, right? The satellite minis, the very new polyominoes with only 2 spaces each, and one side is guaranteed to have one of the meteors. Then the Supermoon boards, symmetric, unique combination of 4 boards that you're going to be using, along with different tracks right here. New milestone cards, new event cards, and new patches that you're going to be putting along with it. So just filling in more details of what's there. So they pull up the rulebook here on the page, and it has the Supermoon module expansions. Everybody gets their board like I mentioned. The new rules: tiles and patches drafted or gained may be placed on the moon. Obviously can't place them down until the meteorite's cleared. When you place the tile or the patch onto the moon, gain a satellite orbit equal to the size of the tile or patch, the number of squares, obviously. Then place any meteorites as normal, orbit the number of satellites, spaces corresponding to the size of the tile in the first place. After its satellites stop the orbits, choose one orientation and destroy all meteorites in the path of the laser. So that's what you're doing. More medals, more endgame scoring conditions, like I mentioned. Now, if you go back over the page here, again, it's there, right? Satellite minis, like we talked about, the boards, everything else along with it. All the base game stuff, the Planet Unknown rulebook originally, tile laying, engine building aspect of things. I mean, it's a good game. You know, I think it's a good game overall. Is it one of my favorite tile laying games? I don't know. I haven't played enough polyomino differences, especially things like Isle of Cats, to know whether or not this one is better for me personally. Also, I haven't played enough asymmetry with this one to know if I really like it from that aspect of things. I think it's good though. Is it $130 good though? That's where I start to have trouble with this aspect of things. And this is a FOMO with the deluxeified version, if I've ever seen it, just based on what's happened previous versions. So 4,000 people are in, 3 weeks are left. There you go, check it out. Coloma, go hopping over here on Coloma on GameFound as well. Expansion, reprint, 2019 game, I believe, Final Frontier Games. They're adding, again, a new expansion, just like Planet Unknown. And you're getting a little bit more of a deeper mechanism with the boom and the bust featuring mechanic with the engine build town card laying aspect of this in the first place. Because the basic gist is you're going to have workers and you're going to place these workers on different action location spots on the main board. However, if more people choose the same one, then that location busts. And busting changes the dynamics of the actions at that location in the first place. Then it affects what you can do. Then that affects what resources you're going to get. What resources you get affect what town cards you can build, which allow you to engine build, the engine building aspect of things, and so on and so forth. The new expansion is offering these waterfall movements across a tile board that is going to be brand new from this expansion that you can see right here. And as you go across them, you can earn other bonuses, which actually behoove you. It gives you a bigger benefit for the bust action. It reminds me a little bit in a completely different way of Champions of Midgard, right? The big problem with Champions of Midgard, the base game alone, was, right, like if your heroes, your warriors died in battle in the base game, you didn't really get rewarded for it, right? You just lost a battle by the bad roll of a dice and you were kind of SOL and you became behind and it was all due to luck and there was nothing you could do. Now in this, just like with the expansion there, Valhalla expansion, if you lost warriors, you were rewarded. It was a catch-up mechanic. It was a balancing issue. And they're doing a similar thing with this boom and bust mechanic here with not only the waterfalls, but a whole new set of building cards and event cards that are going to go along with this as well. And you are going to be required to be moving them across, which may help you. There may also run into obstacles as you go across them as well. And so that's the question. Look at this pledge level here, though, $160. That's what you have to ask yourself. Deluxe upgrade pack, base game, big box, and fistful of meeples. Do you want their other game? Or do you have the base game already? Because then it's a good deal, $29. Deluxe edition, $79. Combo here, $108. So, I mean, again, do you love both games? You get that one. Only if you absolutely love both games. Otherwise, you just ignore that one altogether and you look at down here what's right for you. Again, I'd say you have to love this game to get deluxe versions, folks. You have to love the game. Don't FOMO it. They say, oh, well, it may not be available at retail. Only convention, select, whatever. I mean, again, look at the price point for this on the regular market. Half the price, probably. Are you okay with half the price, base game, and an expansion now? But the only question is, if you're getting the base game on the secondary market, why not wait for the expansion? That's the other question I have to put out there right now. And I don't see any exclusivity with some of this stuff. And I have to think that a good portion of this stuff is going to be available on the retail version of the expansion. So again, I guess if you're not going to get the deluxe version, I don't know why you would get this on crowdfunding. That's my thought, just basically looking at this and going through it from that aspect of things. I see no incentive if you're not going deluxe. And next up, we're going back over to Kickstarter here, and we're seeing Fighting Fantasy Adventures Campaign 1 from Martin Wallace, based on a series of books. You got me, folks. I wasn't familiar with the book series whatsoever. Now, this one actually launched a week ago, so I'm covering it because my video aired last week before this one went live. So this is based on four novels, 5 adventures that you're going to be going through in 60 to 90 minutes per adventure. Now, again, the mechanics here in the rulebook leave me a little bit wanting. Because basically what you have is you have your set of 4 heroes that you line up in a grid and you match them up depending on how many monsters you're fighting, which is based on a room and an event card that you're going to be playing on a turn-by-turn basis, right? But the weird part is with these dungeon cards and these encounter decks, they are pre-constructed. So you literally are told not to shuffle them and you just flip over the top one when you go in a direction. So you're going to see some variability depending on which direction you go. It's going to, a room is going to be a different place than it would be the next time or if you reset it, but it doesn't appear to be actually that different of an order either. So I worry about replayability with something like this. Not that you need that. I mean, it's going to be fine with what it is, but then you're also going to have these event-like encounters that you're going to be doing as you go across, and it's just kind of a roll of a dice. You roll 2 dice for your character, you roll 2 dice for the enemy that you're attacking, you add your skill values in on each side, and whoever has higher does damage to the other. Rinse and repeat until one side's knocked out. You have a stamina value that is your health. You have a luck value that you can spend one of that I don't think actually regrows or, regrows, comes back, but it allows you to reroll not just your dice, though. That's a tricky point. It rerolls all the dice that are available to you. Now, obviously, if you have 4 heroes and 4 enemies, each person lines up with 1. But if you have less enemies than heroes, this is why you can stack on 1 and have 3 people attacking 1. And if each hero is additionally attacking the same one, they each get a +1 to their bonus roll. So that's it, though. That's the whole nutshell. The rulebook is super simple. Again, I don't see what the types of encounters are going to be here with some of this. And you're orienting these cards to make a little dungeon layout, but you're playing them simultaneously, so you're going to see the same combination of things each time. I think you have your own set of ability cards that are going to give you other ways to manipulate things, but the rulebook doesn't show you anything. The page doesn't really show you anything on how those abilities are going to be different as well. So you're going to have to look at one of these videos because, again, this page is lacking like some of the other pages we've seen recently. It's also got a higher funding goal, and I'm a little surprised, a little not surprised. It launched on a Friday, but I don't mind that whatsoever. But it also just doesn't really tell me why I should get it because it's solely a luck-based rolling system, which people aren't as huge a fan of nowadays. But I mean, still got $30,000. The problem is it's got a $66,000 funding goal. So that's where it's going to sort of meet rubber and the road. And well, will it make it to the end? We'll see. Next up, Crystallo. I missed this one when it launched initially. It's only got 7 days to go, but this is a solo game expansion. And again, this one suffers from the same problem. It does not tell you at all on this whole page right here how to play the actual game. It tells you the 2 new expansions. It tells you the 2 phases of things that they're going to be altering, whether the playing card phase or the dragon phase, whether you're laying these cards down, creating crystals in a matching up of sides pattern, or creating orbs, then to also release the bonds of creatures that are held in this magical cave by the dragon in the first place. But it's going to allow you to change the number of dragons or which dragons you're going to be going up against or even freeing on the second phase of things with one of the expansions. But the only way that you're going to know how to play is you're going to have to watch Rodney's video because there's no even a link to the base game rulebook on this page. Now, there is a little bit of a rules explanation of the expansion, so that's fine. I just don't know. I'm not a solo player. It's got a 6.9 rating on Board Game Geek, so I think that's good. I think people liked it, but I also don't hear it talked about, hardly at all. And I have perused the One Player Guild on Board Game Geek, and I don't hear this one as well from them from that side of things. Good price point, I guess. $18 for both expansions, but it's going to cost you $35 for both expansions and the Pocket Edition to get everything. So no, this is kind of a weird pledge level here. I thought $35 here was the base game expansions and some of the superfluous non-gameplay stuff, but it only includes the Pocket Edition there. If you want the regular size edition, you're actually gonna have to spend $55 with both expansions and the playmat and the log. So I kind of wish, hopefully down here, they've got it piecemealed, but they run you through, again, I mean, it's absolutely fantastically looking, but the 2 aspects of this are gonna be cavern collapsing, new spirit stones and tools that you're gonna be able to use, and then the dragons that you're gonna be having to manipulate or drawn to, depending on what you're going to be going up against in that second phase of things. So yeah, there you go. Add-ons, copy of the base game. Here you go. You can do it a la mode if you will. So $20 plus the $18, so $38 gets you all of the gameplay essential stuff. But compared to $55, I mean, yeah, it's still saving $17. $17 less is $17 less. Or if you want the Pocket Edition, you can save yourself an additional $8. And that is that. I mean, again, I have no idea. This is not for me. If you're not a solo gamer, I don't think that this is going to change your mind on solo games. It seems okay. It seems quaint. I love the artwork, but definitely not for me. There's enough information though on Board Game Geek right now with the first one doing well. I think it raised like $42,000 or something on the first time around. So go check that out. So there you go. That's the week. I mean, this was a really easy, short week. The next 2 weeks are going to be crazy though. Couple big announcements, couple big ones coming up. One came out of nowhere. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming this soon. Spoilers for tomorrow's video. Simon. And we'll see kind of what it entails because I have yet to figure out my Zombicide White Horde pledge. White Horde? I forget what it was called. The one with winter, the fake winter Zombicide one. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that one's launching this upcoming week as well. Mordred. King Arthur area control. That's all I got. Check out my videos from earlier this week. Talking about the Cthulhu Wars, Peterson Games travesty on the pallet issues and the shipping costs from there. And I went through 13 other games that were recently ending or ending soon on crowdfunding. Big names, old stuff that had gotten updates since they launched. And I gave you strong opinions on whether or not you should get them. And to be frank, I kind of like doing that video, like with this one, of telling you why all of those games you shouldn't get. And again, if I'm, wrong on those issues, or you know what, those issues aren't a big deal for you, go out and get them. I see you guys in the comment section. People are vigorously typing in the comment section there on that video, telling me, this game is awesome, Chris, you're wrong. I'm like, yeah, my goal is not to tell you they're bad games, folks. My goal is to tell you why you maybe shouldn't get them at the same time. But sometimes people view it as one instead of the other, and they take it a little personally in the comment section. It's fun times, though. Fun times. A couple of video reviews. A big video review is going to be a completely different style. Hopefully going to come out in the next week or two, of a game you wouldn't expect me to review, but I am doing it. And although it's got a little bit of an expected result based on my opinions and bias. So take that for what you will, right? Little spoilers. I'll tell my Patreon folks what it is this weekend. So if you're not a Patreon, maybe you should check out my Patreon. Little guy, big... I'm not big anything. I don't even know why I said that. Collaboration for the first time coming up soon too. Although I don't actually know when it's going to air because I'm not the one doing the editing of the collaboration. So I'd tell you more, but if you were on my Patreon, again, you'd already know. That's the most I've talked about my Patreon in like 2 or 3 months. I'm sorry. Hit the subscribe button if you want. By the way, does that actually work? Like, everybody's video always says, hit the subscribe button, and like all the metrics and all the like third-party sites are like, you gotta tell your viewers to subscribe. And I just feel like I don't do that, and I've gotten away from that, and because like I took that advice for a while, but now I haven't done it recently, so I don't know if that actually works, because like the summer always like slows way down, and I'm gonna be lucky if I hit like 9,000 people by the end of the year. I was really trying to hit 10,000, but I don't know why 10,000. It's really a completely made up number, but I feel like people actually take you seriously. Like when people talk about the big people or the people. People. I have no idea. I got called a content creator in real life this past week. We were at a dinner with a couple other couples. It was a work one. And the significant other of one of the people I work with, he said something to her because it went around the office that I make videos and stuff, right? And she must have heard it from him. And she goes, "You're a content creator too? I do TikTok videos." I was like, "Yeah, I do some stuff too." Like, I don't like to talk about it in public, folks. This is super awkward for me in public. Like, that's why I've always said, if you've heard me ramble in the past, if I inevitably go to any conventions, right? Like, I'm going to be like this at the convention. Maybe like walking around like this. Other people are always like, "Oh, I got to have my business card and I got to wear my own t-shirt logo. And I'm going to be trying to, go up with the publishers and do the behind the scenes thing and get the secret demos and the secret swag bags." And I'm just going to be like, "Don't recognize me, don't recognize me, don't recognize me, don't recognize me." Because like the pandemic made my social anxiety a little worse. I won't lie. That's all I got. That's all I got. See, this is what you get for watching the end of the videos. I guarantee you no one else makes a bigger fool of themselves at the end of their videos as me, right? Guarantee it. And if there is somebody else, you can let me know in the comment section below, but that's all I got. Stay classy. Have a great freaking fantastic day. Peace out. Thanks for watching, guys. I love talking about board games. I just do.